Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy Juneteenth, the day we knew nothing about when we went through high school. But now we know that it's the last day that there were African Americans still in slavery. They were given the news that the war had been won in their favor this day. So that is a day to celebrate. I am wondering a little bit about, do changes continue? I want to read on a bunch of things today, but do changes continue? We've had some good changes. We've had some efforts to ban chokeholds. We've had now Breonna Taylor's, the officer who did the no-knock warrant, has been arrested. We had an officer who shot a man running away and shot him dead a couple of days ago. We've had him charged. So we have some positive changes happening. How far do they go? Are there further troubles? Well, that seems like a naive question. Of course, it's not all, the battle's not all won at once, but how many changes are there? What does it look like for efforts to get rid of police discrimination against those of color? What does that look like? Well, we have the lover's card. We have the okay, we got to watch for the manipulation. We have the Knight of Cups, who likes to say, ooh, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. Isn't this wonderful? Doesn't this make you feel good? But you got to watch that Knight of Cups, because sometimes he says things that are not exactly true. So we're going to have to be vigilant, is what I'm hearing. We have the Lover's card. You know, I think that's all right. I think there's a lot of love in this movement, in the Black Lives Matter movement. I think that's a good card in this case. Sometimes in political readings, that's not a good card, but in this case, I think it is. And then we have the Seven of Coins. So still not quite enough security. We still have to build security there because, yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. We've got to start. We've got to start. We have to remain vigilant, not be manipulated. All right. So I just wanted to look at how that's progressing. Anything we should know about safety for those protesting? Well, we have the Victory. We have the Nine of Coins. We have the Eight of Wands. All protests will continue. They'll keep going in the right direction. The Nine, I think there's victory. I mean, I think that Five of Swords is victory, actually, because of all the cameras, all the camera footage being so powerful. I don't think that we're going to see the kind of brutal quashing of peaceful protests that we saw. But we do have a Tower. Okay, there may be one state. So we have the Two of Wands. We have two different ways of looking at these protests. Actually, there may still be. That means, yeah, there may still be too aggressive or too, well, definitely efforts to limit the protesters' ability to protest in a certain state, so that we will watch that. It's not great news for everybody. It's good news for most. Most of these protesters will not be bothered, but there's a Tower. I still think the pandemic is going to be used partly to justify trying to quash the peaceful protests. I still think that will happen at some point. So, well, nothing too surprising there. We will need to be vigilant. All right. I wanted to ask a little bit more about some other things. So, Bolton's book. Oh my God. Right? Well, for one thing, Bolton is looking like a smarmy, you know what, because he takes the Democratic Party to task for having an incomplete impeachment, the one that he refused to testify in, because he was saving the scoop for his book. Whatever, you know, that's really awful that he dares to do that, because he did nothing but enable this. But what kind of effect does this have on Trump, this book? Well, he's going to try to get the law after Bolton. Well, we know he has been trying to stop it in the courts, but there's something else even. Ooh, he's going to try to get the law after Bolton. And we have the Nine of Wands. So he's embattled. This presidency is more and more embattled. I pick that card all the time for Trump's presidency now. It's just nothing but a disaster for the remainder. And we have the 7 of coins. It doesn't make him feel safe enough. I'm not safe enough. I'm not safe enough. He is freaking out. Trump is freaking out because he is noticing that longtime friends and allies are starting to, give him some trouble, like Fox News. They're publishing polls that he can't think are right, and there is more criticism coming from Fox News shows toward him. He wonders why that's happening. So, Bolton's book, what kind of splash does it have? Well, it sure illuminates a lot of things. We have the sun, but it's regrets. It's 5 of cups. It's also, there's a lot of talk about all this stuff was happening. Why didn't you come forward, Bolton? Why didn't Mattis come forward at the time? Why didn't John Kelly come forward? Why did nobody talk? The Strength card. Okay, well, that to me says, it's not like it does Trump in, he remains. All right, which is what we would expect. Because cheapers, nothing else has done him in yet. The election could do him in, that's for sure. Okay, we have things flying out, so I better not ignore them. We have the 3 of coins. That's building some security. Consulting with attorneys. Oh, Trump is trying everything. He's consulting with everybody, trying to stop negative press. But what does he stop next? I mean, it's like it's all going forward so quickly. All these truths are coming out. People are turning on him. 8 of Wands was that one. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, because it's time for truth to come out. We've been seeing that. It's time. It's time for a new beginning. All right, let me look at, what about this other book that's coming out by his niece, Mary, who is Fred Trump Jr.'s daughter, and had a long court battle, apparently was part of that with the Trump siblings because of that shady will. So what happens with that book? Oh, there is a story there too. Oh, that's a part of the truth coming out too. It's just like these waves of bad press for Trump, and it keeps going. It keeps going for him. A lot of times I used to read on Trump and I would see, oh, but, he also has some good news this month. Oh, but, he's happy about that. And those readings were not so very fun, right? Well, the readings I do in the last few months is there are no silver linings for him. It's just bad news after bad news. Yeah, and then we have the 2 up, but yet, still they're sailing on. The election's not decided. I still see him really trying hard. But 7, it's another thing. Mary's book is yet another thing that makes him feel like he doesn't have enough security. Okay, anything else from Mary's book? A lot of arguing, a lot of debate. Oh, he will rebut some of the things she said. He will. Which will only make him look worse, frankly. Ace of Swords. Truth. Truth coming out. But that means truth will still be hidden. I wonder if there's something he's going to do to stop it. Or delay it. We have the King of Cups, like he rides it out. I wonder about Mary's book. So it's supposed to come out in August. Will it come out in August, Spirit? Death. It may not. It may be delayed, you guys. He may try to sue her. There's something like that. It may be delayed. He's certainly going to rebut some of the claims that have already been leaked, are already out there. Queen of Coins. There is somebody powerful and with a lot of money who works on his behalf here. So that's interesting. Some of Trump's support has eroded, I think, in the Republican Party, but still there are plenty who still feel like their fortunes are tied to his and want him in there. Okay, what else was I going to read on? Let's see. Well, oh, there are so many things that, oh yeah, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, 2 blows, well, Trump is taking personally. One, they're saying the 1964 ruling does allow for protections for LGBTQ people. It does. It really does. So, because how can it not? If the same behavior would be okay with an employer if that person was the opposite sex, well, okay, then sexual orientation or gender identification, one or the other, they are protected statuses. So, yeah, Trump didn't like that real well. And then also, the other ruling was that DACA, the way he handled DACA, was unconstitutional because he did it so quickly. He had no plan for those who had already been promised protected status. So their protected status continues. And you guys, I'm not really surprised by that, because I did a reading a while back on DACA that said that in the end, their protected status would be upheld. However, it was going to take so long and be so discouraging that a lot of people would leave just because. I mean, there would be people leaving, or maybe even a few deportations, but really people, becoming discouraged by it. But if they could hang in there, they would end up protected. So what about DACA? What about those folks that are relying on the DACA protections? Well, right, nostalgia, right. Wait a minute. It's like, wait a minute. They were promised something. Let's look back. 6 of Cups. Yeah, investigator. Yep. This isn't the end of it. It's not just that the Supreme Court made this decision. There will be somebody appointed to investigate the correct way to proceed, or, investigate what went wrong so that what could be corrected, that kind of thing. And we have the 8 of Coins. So these folks are still working here. They're still learning here. They're still going to school here. Yeah, in the meantime. Okay, so maybe this is enough of an encouragement that a lot of these folks will just simply see it through and see, okay, well, I'm staying. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Trump's out of there, that kind of thing. But at the very least, I do believe they will be grandfathered in. Even if he ends up ceasing DACA, he would grandfather in those who had already applied. That's what I've seen. Nine, because they would be sitting pretty. They're established. That's the established woman. And then we have the 10 of Swords and the Hermit. The 10 of Swords. What's that, Spirit? Death. Okay. I just think that he really may make efforts still to end that program. And that may be what that's about. Not to say it couldn't be resumed again by a Democrat president. It sure could. But he may make efforts to end the program, but yet those grandfathered in would be grandfathered in. Okay. Like no new applicants. But I don't think there are any new applicants now, are there? So, but it does look good for those who are relying on those protections. All right. What about Trump? What's he thinking of the Supreme Court now? Oh, he's feeling embattled. He's got the 9 of Wands, the 10 of Coins. He's saying, wait a minute. Those who back me financially would expect better from you. Yeah. And then we have the 3 of Coins. He's consulting with attorneys at the, you could call it consulting, at the White House. I feel like that is nothing but a circus. That is crazy. That's a crazy time when he tries to talk to the attorneys and they're just, in private ripping out their hair because, he doesn't understand anything they're saying. So consulting with attorneys. Okay. And let's see about, oh goodness, there was something that just flew in and flew out again. Oh, sometimes I'm hearing the other side and I'm trying to think with my brain. It sometimes just gets a little crosswired there. But yes, he's upset with the Supreme Court. Is the Supreme Court getting stronger? I mean, are they going to at least, try to look like they're not being partisan? We still have the family, though. We still have some Supreme Court justices that do seem to be towing a party line. But there's strength there in the rules, and don't give up on the Supreme Court because things can improve there too. 8 of coins. A lot of work needs to be done. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, let's see. Now there was something else I wanted to read on. Oh yeah, Trump's right hand. No, okay, I will avoid all off-color jokes about this. But he does seem to have a trouble when he is drinking something, right? It's not so much a tremor. It's like he comes up and he stops here, and then he takes his right hand and the rest of the way. Or he takes his left hand. So he drinks with his right, he takes his left hand. What is going on with that? Why does he drink with 2 hands? Why does it seem like, is it a strength in the arm issue? Is it a neurological issue where I don't know that the cup isn't up to my mouth? I don't know where that stops. What is it? What happened? And then that halting run down the shuffle down the ramp, which to me is not as, whatever, that could have been anything, but the taking the drink up to the lips and then having to help it with his other hand was weird. That was not, there's something wrong there. Let's see what that is. Death card, the 10 of coins, the 9 of swords. He's very worried about it. It is an injury. It was an injury then with that death card. So I am wondering if it was like a stroke kind of thing. It was an injury, and I don't feel like it's an injury of the arm. It's something neurological. But then we have the 10 of coins, which is, some stability of health. That doesn't mean that, in other words, it doesn't mean that he has something that's going to get rid of him, anytime soon. He has some stability of health. But that's also the generations card, isn't it? The 10 of coins. So we can look back at what kinds of health troubles people in his family have. Has there been stroke? There have been sort of vascular troubles, right? Like hardening of the arteries kind of troubles. And that can contribute to stroke. So I think there was an injury. What else should we know about that? Pregnant with the possibility of another. That means he's at risk for another. Conflict. Ace of swords. There's secrets hidden that are waiting to come out. Right? We've got some conflict, some debate. He's working really hard to keep it all a secret. But yes, he's had some problem there. What about, how's the dementia going? Because I'm convinced there is some happening there. How's it going? Well, it kind of moves along steadily. We have the King of Coins. We have the Queen of Coins. We have the Hope card. Okay, well, all right. It's there. There's some cognitive something. But yet, don't look for it to get really severe really quickly or anything. It's more like, there are different kinds. There are different kinds of dementia. And some are very mild, and they're caused by a very gradual kind of process. And so, not all are Alzheimer's. And even among Alzheimer's, some can go really fast. Some Alzheimer's can develop very gradually. But, there are some kinds of cognitive issues that are just secondary to some other health problem, and they just kind of go slowly down. So, okay. So anyways, that's what I'm seeing there. So, anything else we should know, Spirit, about what's going on in Trump land? We also have a book coming out about Melania, right? Anything about that, Spirit, we should know? Well, gradually we'll know more. That too is delayed. But there's a financial opportunity there. So, the author will proceed. Interesting. So we've got a lot of tell-alls coming out that aren't going to be favorable to the family, and it's bothering them. Okay, what about this? Oh, Trump's health. What about, especially after the Tulsa rally? We got Delay. We got secrets. Even if he gets sick, he's not going to tell us. We got the 10 of Wands. Very burdensome, it's just there's so many things on his mind. He's going to do this rally. That's what I wanted to ask about. So will this Tulsa rally be a super spreader event? Will it be a super spreader event? Victory. Well, oh, there's Trump going, I'm victorious. Okay, and then we have the Queen of Swords. Well, you better believe that if it is, our press will find out and tell us. Ace of Coins. There's a little bit of an opportunity for greater security because why? Why? Ace of Cups. Be very emotional for people. There will be people who do not go. Four of Cups because they are concerned about it. 8 of Coins. They're going to be trying some things. I think they will be handing out masks. They will be with the hand sanitizer. There will be people involved trying to maybe even space people out. Maybe even go out into the outdoor areas, have more overflow. What's that? There will be some efforts made, you guys. That's good. However, they're going to be watching and waiting because that ship's going to come in. They don't do enough to keep people's health safe. The 2 of Coins, they're sort of balancing. So, you know what I'm getting? I'm getting that, yes, there will be cases coming out of that. Yes, it will be considered a bad idea, bad event, but yet not as bad as it could be because there will be some efforts made to mitigate the exposures. And it is in a very large building, which also I think is helpful, actually. Any chance, these keep coming out, but not helpful enough. 7 of Coins, not enough. So there will be cases coming out of this that people do point to and say, yeah. In fact, I think they will say super spreader event. They will call it that. Could have been worse. Let's see about any chance they're going to call it off or change venue at the very last minute. Well, I mean, they're consulting about it. It's not off the table. I just think, no, I think they're going to send a lot of workers in to try to modify the venue and maybe, yes, put more people into overflow and try to get it less packed indoors. Yeah. Page of Wands. But yeah, they just the beginning of it's like at the last minute, you know. It's just the beginning of a goal and a plan. It's so inadequate. So no, it's not good. It's not good for Tulsa that this rally happens. And do they have sort of a long-term negative effect with this? Queen of Cups. We're not going to hear a lot about it because I think does the governor of Oklahoma, she doesn't speak out a lot about it. 2 of Swords. It depends on how you look at it, right? Okay, there will be some people who say, oh, it didn't do that bad. Numbers were going up anyway. How can you blame the event? And then there will be others who will say, clearly you can, because look at these numbers and look at that number. So very similar to what we do have a lot of times when people are looking at things through party lenses. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's enough for today. I thank you all so very much and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.